Newsfirst at 9. Headlines.
Hello there, a very good evening to you. Now first and foremost, let me wish all our viewers on behalf of the entire Newsfirst team a happy and prosperous Sinhalese and Tamil New Year. And I'm Joel Outskoon, coming to you live from the Newsfirst studios with tonight's headlines. New Year celebrated with much pomp and ceremony across the country. Taking the spirit of reconciliation towards Sri Lanka being crowned the wonder of Asia should be a firm commitment of all Sri Lankans. A message from the President. A decline of 14.5% in coconut production in 2013. Lethargy of officials lead to the death of 2 wild elephants in Puttalam over the last 10 days. Details on Action TV. Let's now cross over to our Newsfirst studios for a comprehensive news bulletin.
Thank you, Joel. A very good evening, everyone, and wish you all a very happy Sinhala and Tamil New Year. I'm Shane Silva.
And I'm Nicola D'Souza. Let's start off with our top story for today. Another Sinhala and Tamil New Year dawned at 7:37 a.m. this morning, symbolizing the transition of the sun from the house of Pisces to the house of Aries. The Punya Kalaya for religious observances was from 1:13 a.m. to 2:01 p.m. today. Newsfirst cameras captured footage of the public making their way to the temples across the island for religious observances, which is given priority on a day like today. The dawn of the Sinhala and Tamil New Year took place at 7:37 this morning. Keeping with tradition, the ceremony of boiling milk at the temple of the sacred tooth relic in Kandy took place under the auspices of the Diyavadana Nilame of the temple Nilangadala at the Hebisi arena of the temple. According to tradition, one dresses in white attire and lights the hearth for cooking dikiri and jaggery mixed milk rice at the auspicious time of 10:17 a.m. facing southwards. MTV Embassy broadcast its special New Year program for the historical Kalaniya Raja Mahaviharaya.
සෑම ගෙදරකම මේ අවස්ථාවේදී ඉන්නේ මෙවැනි ප්‍රීතිදායක හැඟීමකින් තමයි.
The first meal for the new year was observed at the auspicious time of 11:05 a.m. dressed in white attire facing southwards. Hindu devotees from across the island made their way to the Kovils in order to obtain blessings for the new year. The 28th year of the Saivist calendar was ushered in today as the year of victory. Hindu devotees take a fresh bath and light the stove for the cooking of milk before heading off to the Kovils for religious observances.
The movement of the sun from the house of Pisces to the house of Aries is also celebrated in other parts of the world as the dawn of the new year. In 2 Southeast Asian countries that have close cultural and religious ties with Sri Lanka, this new year is celebrated in unique fashion.
In Thailand, the New Year festival is known as Songkran. Bangkok residents and tourists splashed water on each other yesterday to celebrate the annual Songkran water festival and to cool off from the heat. It symbolizes the washing off of misfortunes and a welcoming of the new year with a fresh start. Equipped with water guns and buckets, people from young to old take part in the water fights. Some roads were closed off temporarily for people to move around freely. Anti-government protests have also been halted in Bangkok for the Thai New Year. The celebration in Thailand usually runs from the 13th to the 15th of April. In Myanmar, the transition of the sun from the house of Pisces to the house of Aries is celebrated as Thingyan, the Myanmar New Year. Residents in Yangon sprayed each other and poured water over statues of Lord Buddha as Thingyan, the Myanmar New Year, kicked off yesterday. Splashing water on each other is a symbol of washing away the past year's sins and starting anew. People were dancing in the streets and on cars during the celebrations. Residents also visit the Shwedagon Pagoda and pray to receive blessings throughout the year. Myanmar celebrates the Thingyan Water Festival and dawn of the Myanmar New Year for 4 days, which will continue until this Wednesday.
While every New Year is a special occasion, this New Year was extra special for a group of people who are rehabilitating their lives following the end of the war.
This group, who have been rehabilitated at the Poon Totem camp in Vavuniya, also observed New Year traditions today. This group of people standing shoulder to shoulder with troops to celebrate the New Year are former LTTE cadres. This footage, which bears testament to the limitless potential of humanity to live in harmony, is also symbolic of the cultural blind that comes with the Sinhala and Tamil New Year.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa and opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe issued their messages in view of the dawn of the new year.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa in his Sinhala and Tamil New Year message says that the dawn of this new year will take pride in the nation's effort towards building a nation self-sufficient in an abundant harvest of nature's blessings. The President in his message also stated that the new year has dawned at a time when production and development in agriculture and other spheres are making a tremendous progress. The President also added in his message that it is essential to build national unity to usher in rapid development in the country. President Rajapaksa further says in his message that the most valued quality of this New Year festival is taking the ideal of understanding and unity beyond the family to the village, the city and the entire country. The message said that taking the spirit of reconciliation towards Sri Lanka being crowned the wonder of Asia should be a firm commitment of all Sri Lankans at this Aurudhu festival. Meanwhile, opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe issuing a statement says that the common objective of each New Year ritual is to spread goodwill not only within the minds of the people but also across our families and the society at large. He adds that the Sinhala and Hindu New Year needs to fill our minds with right thoughts to transform our country to a better place to live in order to make the New Year meaningful.
The Janata Vimukti Peramuna, in its message for the Sinhala and Tamil New Year, says that all Sri Lankans should aspire and fight for populist governance this year. In his message, the leader of the JVP, Anurakumara Dissanayake, says that this New Year marks an important occasion as the people of Sri Lanka commemorate a victorious new beginning. In his message, the leader of the Democratic Party, Sarath Fonseca, wished all Sri Lankans a happy, peaceful and prosperous New Year. Furthermore, he noted that he prays that all people will be able to live in a democratic country which guarantees their human rights, a state free of corruption, lawlessness and economic strife. Wishing all Sri Lankans a happy and prosperous New Year, the leader of the National Unity Front, Asad Sali, says that transforming Sri Lanka into a prosperous and united country free of racial divisions is not a difficult task for Sri Lankans as they come together to celebrate the New Year. Nothing that the New Year is traditionally a time for change. Sali adds that there is no better time than the present to bring change and prosperity to all Sri Lankans. Issuing a statement, US Secretary of State John Kerry said that on behalf of President Obama and the American people, he offers his warmest greetings to the people of Sri Lanka and the vibrant global Sri Lankan diaspora. He adds that the New Year brings a new opportunity for all Sri Lankans to join together in the spirit of tolerance, reconciliation and peace.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa celebrated the dawn of the new year at Carlton House in Tangol with his family.
The President and his family followed the traditions of the New Year, commencing with the lighting of the stove for the boiling of milk.
වලින් හදපු රස කැවිලි වාගේම ඒ සිනහව සතුට වාසනාව රජ කරන්නට අතිගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමන් රාජ්‍ය නායකයා හැටියටත් නිවසට ඇවිල්ලා Tamanගේ නිවසේ ඉඳලා දරුවන් සියලු දෙනා එකට එකතු කරගෙන බොහොම සතුටින් අවුරුදු සමරන අවස්ථාව. අතිගරු ජනාධිපති.
The president also greeted guests who visited Carlton House and treated them to sweetmeats and refreshment.
සියලුම ජාතීන්ට රස්මේ සියලුම ජනතාවට සුබ නවවසරක් වේවා කියලා ප්‍රාර්ථනා කරනවා. ඉනිය උත්තාණ්ඩු වාල්තුකල්.
Moving on to other news, it is doubtless that the irresponsible consumption of alcohol can lead to tragedy. We received this report from Galevela.
This is the village of Illagolla, located about 15 kilometers from Galevela. No doubt, these two children who live amid many hardships were eagerly looking forward to the dawn of the new year, to wear their new clothes and play with their friends. However, last night their father had come home drunk, beaten his wife and the children before chasing them out of the home, following which he set fire to the clothes, books and other items in the house. The mother arrived in the Galevela police this morning accompanied by her two children and lodged a complaint. Owing to the core values of humanity displayed by the OIC of the Galevela police, Rushant Pereira, and the officers of the Galevela police, the children were given some comfort for the new year. While the father has been arrested, it is difficult to know if the tears that this mother is shedding are tears of happiness that her children were able to celebrate the new year, or tears over the uncertainty of their family's future.
Newsfirst reporters also sent us footage of New Year celebrations from various parts of the island.
The swing has always been a popular part of New Year's traditions here in Sri Lanka. Why is it that the swing, a mainstay of children's playgrounds across the world, holds such prominence? Newsfirst Stephanie Lazarus filed this report.
There are many fun activities during the New Year season. Riding the swing is one of them, and that's my favorite. Even though I'm from a different faith, riding the swing is a tradition at my place.
Unchili Padima or Unchil Adungal in Tamil is famous among women, where a swing is tied on a strong branch of a tree in the garden. Sometimes there are two people seated on the swing while another person keeps swaying the swing back and forth while singing special verses known as Unchil Varam, also known as Varankavi. The traditional New Year game of Unchili Padima is closely tied with rituals involving the goddess Pathini.
Today marks Buck Full Moon Poya Day, which also marks Lord Buddha's second visit to Sri Lanka.
5 years after attaining enlightenment, the Lord Buddha undertook his second visit to Sri Lanka. The purpose of this visit was to advise the kings Chulodra and Mahodra who were preparing to wage war. The history of the Sasana notes that the Lord Buddha, on reaching Nagadeepa, preached to the Naga tribe and made them understand the value of peace and averting war between the two kings.
ආගමික වත්පිළිවෙත්වල යෙදලා පිනේ දහමේ නියැලලා තමයි අලුත් අවුරුද්දට පිවිසෙන්නේ.
We enter the new year following religious observances and gaining a new sense of spirituality. With the dawn of this new year, we wish to express our belief that as Sri Lankans, all of us, in keeping with our faith, will engage in these rituals with happiness in our hearts, and that we will unite to ensure there is peace and harmony in our country.
මේ අලුත් අවුරුදු දාවත් එක්ක එකතු කරන්න අපි සතුටුයි.
Religious observances were held in several temples and viharas across the island today in view of the Buck Full Moon Poya Day.
The Around the World team that landed in New York yesterday headed into New Jersey today to attend a very special event organized in lieu of the Sinhala and Tamil New Year. Newsfirst Ramesh Irugal Bandara filed this report from New Jersey, USA.
Around the World in 40 Days.
This event was organized by the children of the Samadhi Buddhist Foundation in New Jersey. Most of these children were born in the United States, however they had been taught the Sinhala language as well as our culture. A number of colourful performances, which included Sinhalese folk songs, added colour to the event. The event concluded with the children worshipping their elders according to Sri Lankan customs.
The Around the World team returned from New Jersey to New York last night. Although the Sinhala and Tamil New Year dawned in Sri Lanka over 12 hours ago, here in New York, the Sinhala and Tamil New Year just dawned nearly 4 hours ago. On behalf of the Around the World team from New York, USA, we wish our viewers a prosperous and a very happy Sinhala and Tamil New Year. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Ramesh Irugal Bandara with Yaswat Kamasri from New York, USA.
The Deputy Chairman of the Wattala Urban Council, who was arrested on charges of assault, has been remanded until the 16th of this month by the Acting Magistrate of Wattala, Channa Gunawardana. The Deputy Chairman was arrested on charges of having conspired to assault an individual from the Bangala Watta area in Marlborough, Wattala. The Wattala police made this arrest last evening. The victim was attacked by a group of persons on the 6th of this month who had arrived in a vehicle belonging to the Deputy Chairman. The assaulted individual has been discharged from the National Hospital in Colombo, where he was being treated. 2 persons have been placed in remand custody in connection with the incident.
Moving on to business news, reports from the Central Bank of Sri Lanka indicate a 14.5% drop in coconut production in 2013 compared to 2012. The reports add that this decline has been attributed to the decline in the production of coconut oil and other related products. The Central Bank report highlights that the 2,940 million coconuts that were plucked in 2012 had dropped to 2,513 million coconuts. The report indicates that the low rainfall received in the coconut triangle has caused this drop in production. According to the Central Bank, 72% of the total coconut oil production had been used for cooking purposes, and in this backdrop, cultivators are faced with an issue to meet the demand of coconuts. The report adds that coconut oil production in 2013 fell by 45%, while desiccated coconut production dropped by 30%. The decline in coconut production had severely affected those engaged in the coir fibre industry in the northwestern province. These persons point out that owing to the difficulty in obtaining coconut husks for the production of coir fibre, they are faced with uncertainty when it comes to pursuing their trade.
Most of the workplaces are shut down.
We have been engaging in this trade for a long time. If we lose this, we will be left with nothing.
Coir fibre producers say that the spread of the disease called Mita that affects coconut trees has also resulted in this situation, along with the difficulty of obtaining coconut husks.
When we bring Mita-affected coconut husks, the amount of coir fibre that we produce will be low. Sometimes the coconut husk cannot be taken in for production because of the condition of the disease.
I kindly request the government to turn their attention to this issue so the situation can be resolved.
And with one of our headline-making stories, up next is Action TV.
The operation that the Department of Wildlife undertook in July last year with the assistance of the Army and the Civil Defence Force to chase away wild elephants from the Kalladi area in Puttalam had a sense of purpose. The intention of this operation was to chase wild elephants encroaching on villages under the purview of the Anamaduwa and Karuwala Gaswawa Divisional Secretariats into the Tabbova Reserve. Although the operation conducted over 2 months failed to even come close to its intended target, the Wildlife Department was able to ascertain some facts. The primary factor that was identified was that in the Thabboa Reserve lay a land that the elephants found attractive and a land that was incidentally conducive to the animals' well-being as well. This land is known as the Sellakanda Reserve. This reserve, located between the 6th and 10th mileposts on the Anuradhapura-Puttalam road, became the habitat of elephants that were chased away in the joint operation launched by the Wildlife Department. The Department of Wildlife took every effort to chase away not only the elephants that had taken up residence here, but also elephants that were already residing here. Following the conclusion of the operation, the 68 wild elephants in the Sellamkanda Reserve began encroaching on human settlements, at times in herds and at times alone. As a result, crops in the area have been destroyed on numerous occasions between September last year and the present. In response to these incursions, an elephant that used to frequently encroach on villages was shot dead. When wildlife officials eventually found the animal's corpse, they discovered that the tusks had been cut off. On the 10th of this month, another elephant met with the same ill fate. Following the conclusion of the 2-month operation last year to chase away the elephants, the Wildlife Department would have been well aware that such a situation could arise. Accordingly, plans were made to erect an electric fence to prevent elephants from moving out of the Sellamkanda Reserve. The fence, which was to stretch from Moriyakulama to Neliwaba, was 33 kilometers in length. On the 6th of September last year, this post was put up in the Moriyakulama area at the auspicious time, marking the commencement of the construction of this fence. It would not be wrong to consider this post as a symbol of the lethargy and irresponsibility of the Department of Wildlife, which has led to the poaching of 2 elephants and the destruction of valuable crops in several villages. Tomorrow on Action TV, we look at an alternative that the people of Digavapiya in Ampara have resorted to in the face of this lethargy.
And that's a wrap of your primetime news for tonight. Wishing you all a very happy and prosperous New Year once again. I'm Nicola De Zoiza.
And I'm Shen Silva. We leave you tonight with a look at the weather forecast.
Good night.
Hotline 0114 896 896 www